All right, kids, we're here at Wilson Lake. Wilson Lake is a very deep, very clear lake, and it is full of fish. And where you have fish, you have to have fish food. And fish love to eat bugs and other little critters we find underwater. So we're going to find out what's hiding here under the lake using our brand new, super awesome dip nets. We're going to walk around and I'm going to dip down and see what kind of stuff we find, and we'll check it out when I'm done. Alright, so we went out yesterday and caught stuff at the pond, caught macroinvertebrates, which are little insects and other critters that you find living under the water of the pond. We got some really interesting stuff, some surprising stuff I was hoping we would find. One of the important things we found was the dragonfly, but not just live dragonflies. We found the actual dragonfly larvae. They're also called dragonfly nymphs. And they're a very unusual looking critter. They live underwater for 3 or 4 years before they come out of the water, shed their skin, climb up a cattail, and fly off as the adult dragonfly. So if you're a baby dragonfly, you do not want to grow up, because you spend almost your entire life underwater, and when you grow up you only get to live for one short summer. But they're a very important insect to find in the water, because they are busy eating a mosquito larva and growing up to become the adult dragonflies, which eat the mosquitoes. So they're a great one. They're swimming around there, even in the middle of the winter. They're swimming around under the ice. And here, I'll zoom in on another one of these. There's a couple cool. There's a couple different species that we have in there. And it's kind of cool. If you look at that head, they actually have a jaw that shoots out like an arm and has pincers on the end. And they use that to grab the insect or even tadpole that they want to eat. And if you look, this one has a different tail. Well, that's kind of cool. So these guys actually breathe through gills. So you can see the little wing buds there. Those will be forming in the wings eventually. So it'll shed its skin and grow larger and larger over time. All right, so that's kind of the big common one we find. I'm going to show you this one, and actually, I'll let you zoom in on it first. This looks really scary, but he's not. This is a water scorpion, and water scorpions have a large poker that's actually just a breathing tube. It's not even a tube; it's just 2 little tails that the air can pass from the surface down this tube and into the insect. So this is a full-grown insect. It has 2 arms that it uses to grab other littler insects, and then it has a head that has a little mouth part that sticks out. It stabs the other insect and sucks their guts out, which is kind of gross, but kind of cool. And I'll see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. He's actually stuck upside down, which is good. Let's see. There's his tail. And actually, maybe if I can show you how his tail, you can actually see where it, maybe you might be able to see where it splits just a little bit right there. So here's his long body, and there's his mouth. There's that poker. See his two big eyes for hunting? He hangs upside down, grabs other insects, and then stabs them with that and slurps out their delicious guts, just like an insect juice box. So that's pretty cool. I was so happy to find one of these. In fact, I've been looking for him for so long, I knew exactly where I would probably find him in the pond. So this guy's cool. You never know that stuff's living around down there. Another cool one we actually found this one in the pond by the, just like the water scorpion, we found this cool guy in the pond by the Mississippi River. And it is a river, a freshwater river shrimp. And he has a little snail friend in there. I'll scoot his little snail friend aside. And I'm gonna put him on the, I'll put him on the computer as well. He is a see-through shrimp, and he's cool because you can actually see his insides. Let's see how well he shows up. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. There, look at that. He's actually holding still. If I were to pick him up, he'd start kicking, and he can actually kick really hard, which is pretty amazing. He's got that big tail. He's just like a little spring. So these guys are, of course, related to crawdads. There was a bunch of crawdad burrows we saw down there, but shrimp are related to them. I'm going to put the lid back on there, or he will definitely have an escape, and they do not live well on the ground. One always jumps out of some poor kid's hand every year, and we're all frantically looking for it in the grass because we feel sorry for it. Let's see. I'm going to take off. I think I have this upside down. I do. That's okay. Here we have the Dragonfly's cousin, the Damsel Fly, and you can see just how small those are. They do get about twice that size, but they actually have little gills on their tails. Those three tails actually are their gills, and they're hunting around just like their big cousins. See if I can get them good. There we go. This will be. I'm surprised this stuff's actually kind of holding still a little bit. Let's see. Come on. There we go. So that little thing is a ferocious hunter. Once again, eating those pesky mosquitoes. So we really like that. All right. And this one is pretty cool. Here's some this is actually a little beetle. Take the lid off. It's a beetle and a beetle larva. So you have a diving beetle and the beetle larva. He's a squiggly thing. I don't know how long he's going to stay in focus. See if I can't get him. There we go. There's the larva. Come on, head on back. He's gonna play with me here, guys. Here, how about we just let him swim by occasionally? There we go. There goes, there goes the larva, and I will actually pull this up because eventually our little beetle will swim by. He tends to just go in circles. There he comes. He's busy swimming around. You got to swim fast when you're a little guy in the pond. You got to zoom, or you get eaten. So that's pretty cool, huh? All right. And this guy's really cool. If he'll hold still too. This is called a scud. It's another, scuds are side swimmers. They're another crustacean that swims on its side. They kind of look like a shrimp, but they actually are more closely related to crayfish. And if he'll calm down, he'll sit there for a little bit for us. Or he'll zoom off. Let's see, he might come back. If I cannot spook him, I can get him to stay. Now he's just going to drift away. Once again, he zooms around really fast because he is at the bottom of the food chain. He is going to get eaten if he stops moving. Where did he go?
It's by your thumb.
Oh, there he is. Sorry, my camera is mirror image, so it's kind of hard to get it just right. There he is. All right, so these guys would be, of course, eaten by anything bigger than them. Those dragonflies would probably happily grab those, as well as the water scorpion. And you know, you need all these things in the water if you want to have fish. So we did catch a little minnow when we were down there, and we saw frogs, and we know there's turtles. And if you are a predator, you need to have these little guys. So people like to see really clear ponds and lakes, but you actually want to find some plants and other things in your lakes, because that allows these guys to stay alive and to stay hidden. And you're going to actually catch more fish. So if you like to fish, these are what you want to find in your lake. So that's just a little bit of what we found, and I hope you enjoyed finding out what's swimming below your feet when you're out there in the pond this summer. Well, we found something really cool this summer. We don't find it at too many different ponds. In fact, you could barely even call this a pond. We found it in a flooded ditch that holds water. So a little ephemeral pond, which means it goes away. We actually found larvae of a salamander of some kind. We're not 100% sure what it is, but salamanders start out underwater, and if I can find the guy, you can see his cool gills. So he's a cute little salamander. And he's starting to get little legs. He's got his little gills right there, you can see. And this guy is cool because he'll grow. He's just tiny right now. And I can even show you how tiny he is. He is itty bitty, but he will grow into probably a big 6-inch salamander as an adult. So salamanders are ferocious predators. You know, they're related to the frogs, of course. So you know, they're amphibians, but he will be hiding around under the leaves, under the logs in the woods, and looking for worms and bugs and pretty much anything they can stuff in their greedy little mouths. They're fun to feed because they are so ferocious. Even though they don't have any big fangs or big claws or anything like that to hunt with, they're quite something. So this was a really special thing we found this summer. And keep your eyes open for salamanders when you're in the woods. You're very lucky if you can find one. So here I have this is our resident tiger salamander, and he's not as big as our old one. We used to have one named Nugget that was even bigger than this guy and even fatter, but he is full grown. And compare that with this, and look at that, he's happy to be out of his burrow. In fact, maybe he's unhappy to be out of his cage. He'd probably like to go back in and hide. But look at that big frog-like mouth. If I wiggled a worm in front of him, he would gobble that up so fast. But look at that, baby adult. So that is a big difference.